welcome to the No Spin News, Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. Stand up for your country. Well, I guess the government shutdown, I hate to even cover this. It's going to work out. I've been doing this, 50 years. I've seen this over and over. It's so tedious, And there's no resolution to it. It's just party politics. Will people get hurt? A few, but everybody will forget about it in a month. And whose fault is it? It's just tedious. People believe what they want to believe. Now, I was on a Hannity radio program talking about it today. We have it posted on BillO'Reilly.com, and I made this point. The Democrats knew when they went yesterday to the White House, they were not going to get a deal. All right? So Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer knew that as soon as the Democrats said, we want the health insurance premiums of illegal migrants paid for by the federal government, it was over. Republicans will never do that. And Democrats know they'd never do it. So, by design, the government shut down because the Democrats wanted it to be shut down. They feel, the Democratic Party, they'll gain by doing this because they'll blame Trump and the Republicans. And the Democratic voter will believe them. But it's all about independence. So I don't know. All I know is its story is boring. It is not being reported honestly. It never has been. The main part of this story for this time, October 1st, is this. The Democratic Party wants socialized medicine. That's what they want. That's what Obamacare was all about. Now, I supported Obamacare because I knew there had to be a safety net for people, poor people. They could not have them wandering into emergency rooms every 2 minutes. And grandma getting sick can't pay the bills. She's thrown out of her house. It can't happen in this country. Can't. So Obamacare served a purpose, but the system has been gamed. 50 million Americans, approaching 50 million, are taking the subsidies and sometimes free health care from the rest of us. That's a ton of people. And I'd say maybe 30% of those people shouldn't qualify, but nobody watches it. Nobody's going to watch it. So they fill out a form and they do this and they do that, but they're making money off the books or there's whatever they're doing. There's no oversight. Democrats want that to continue so that the government runs every part of the American healthcare system, a la Canada, a la Western Europe. That's what the Democratic Party wants. And this is just a way to push that forward. Republican Party doesn't want it. Wants a self-reliance thing going on, wants you to be independent, doesn't want to spend the money, understands $37 trillion in debt is a threat to the nation. Democrats don't care about $37 trillion in debt. Okay? So that's what this is all about. But again, it'll be solved. I hate to be cynical about my own country, but boy, oh boy, what a rotten environment politically right now. Talking Points Memo, new poll by our pal John McLaughlin, who's an honest broker, but he does lean right. He is President Trump's pollster. But his data, pretty solid over the years. 1,000 likely voters, John asked. Male 48, female 52. That's the voting rolls. First question. Think the United States is going in the right or wrong direction? Right direction 35, wrong direction 57. Now, that does not mean that Trump's doing a bad job, because a lot of that wrong direction is directed at radical progressives. So there's not a lot we can draw from that, other than the majority of Americans aren't really happy with the State of the Union as it is now. Generic ballot, U.S. Congress. This is the midterms in November 26. Republican 47, Democrat 41. Oh, undecided 12. Now, I'm not sure about that number, but if it's true, Republicans should be very happy. Okay, third question. All things being equal, do you prefer free market capitalism or big government socialism? Capitalism 65, socialism 11. Thought that number would be higher. Don't know 24. And the don't know is an interesting number here because those people don't know the difference between capitalism and socialism. They don't know anything. They're bubble people. A lot of them. Okay, a ton of them. What would you describe as the most important issue the U.S. is facing? Economy, 41%. There you go. Social, 24%. That's, stuff going on in the culture. Security, 17. Inflation, 23. So you add up the economy and inflation, and you get 64%. That's what's going to tell the midterms. And that's crucial for President Trump. He loses one or both houses in Congress. It'll be very rough for him. So, got to be honest here. Final question, how would you describe the U.S. economy? Getting better, 34, getting worse, 60. Don't know, 6. Not a good number. So the Republicans come out with 2 good numbers and 1 bad number here from the McLaughlin poll. Unemployment's not a problem in this country right now. It's 4.3% for August, and it was 4.2% last year. It's the same. Most people are working. They're in my area in Long Island, people are hiring. They need help. It's not $100,000 jobs, but you can make a living. And but the consumer paying more for insurance, more for utilities, more to commute, pay, and the taxes are up to here. All right, in New York. You guys in Texas, Florida, Tennessee, you don't have to deal with that. We do. And the big population centers do. So, going to be big changes in a year. This poll is just a snapshot of where we are right now. Going to be huge changes in this country in a year, which is why you want to stay with us on BillO'Reilly.com and the No Spin News. Enormous changes. And my prediction's about 90%. Where do you see? A lot of things going to happen fast. Stay here. We will always tell you the truth, and that is the memo. If you are handling your own books or relying on a bookkeeper, it could lead to inaccuracies, missed deductions, and cash flow blind spots. FYSI's team of seasoned accounting professionals, corporate and tax attorneys manage every journal entry, bank reconciliation, and month-end close with precision, delivering clear, timely financial reports. They incorporated advanced tax avoidance strategies into your bookkeeping to capture deductions before you file. And they connect you with industry leaders and referral partners for growth opportunities. Set up your free consultation to learn how FYSI's experts can transform your books into a growth engine and accelerate your business to the next level. Act now to claim your free $5,000 business assessment, available for a limited time. Please go to FYSI.com/Bill. Use promo BILL, or you can call 800-877-4000 today. Drugs. So there's a real war on drugs now, not a phony war. And the war is that the Trump administration is attacking in the Caribbean boats laden with cocaine, blowing them out of the water. And that is just the beginning. All right, I expect to see American military intrusion in Mexico. Don't know when that's going to start. Trump doesn't really want to do that, but I think he's going to have to. Cocaine comes out of Central America. Venezuela is the main transshipment center. So it's grown in Bolivia, Ecuador, Peru. Then it gets shipped to Venezuela. They say, hey, come on in. They're all getting money, including Maduro, the president of Venezuela, the dictator. So they're all being paid. It's a narco state. and then it gets on a boats and it comes into the USA. And then if the intel says the boats are laden, boom, we blow them up. Now, there is a task force in Florida. This is an amazing story. It's called the Joint Interagency Task Force. All right, JIATF. They always have an acronym. And they have seized last fiscal year, which ends, I think, today, 1 million pounds of cocaine, a record. 1 million pounds of cocaine headed for the USA. Now, that's a good job, but if they've seized 1 million pounds, you got to figure 10 million pounds got in, right? And then the heroin and the fentanyl and the methamphetamine coming across the Mexican border. This joint task force operates out of Florida cocaine centers. Joining us now from Phoenix, Arizona, is the co-author of a very good book called After Escobar, Taking Down the Notorious Cali Godfathers and the Biggest Drug Cartel in History. Chris Feistl is a former DEA agent, long time, 26 years. 12 of those years he spent in a very dangerous situation in Colombia, South America. All right, so I liked your book. I have a chapter on Escobar in Confronting Evil. But if people really want to know the micro, because you get into this thing, the whole book is on Escobar and that whole cartel down there. There's a difference between the Mexican situation and the South American situation, right? Which do you think is more dangerous?
Good to be with you today, Bill. Right now, the Mexican cartels pose the most danger to the United States. They have in February of this year, the Trump administration designated 6 Mexican cartels as designated foreign terrorist organizations. So at this point in time, they are the most direct threat to the United States.
All right, but he has not taken military action against those cartels, and he could under U.S. law, but Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, does not want that. Do you have any idea why the Mexican government has allowed these cartels to pretty much run the country?
Well, Mexico has an historic problem with corruption that dates back many, many years. And the fact that these Mexican cartels are intertwined with various levels of the Mexican government allows them to operate pretty much with impunity in Mexico. And, you know, a lot of these drug cartels, they cannot operate without corruption, without the help of the government. So that is a problem that Mexico and the United States have dealt with for some time now.
You think Obrador was on a take? Because he absolutely let the cartels do whatever they wanted to do at great expense to his own people. Hundreds of thousands were murdered under Obrador. Do you think he was on a take?
Well, it's hard to say if he was, Bill, but as some people in his administration most certainly were.
And he had to know about it, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay. Now, Colombia, where you spent an amazing 12 years risking your life, that country goes up and down and in and out. Now, it's another problem for the United States with the cocaine. They were cooperating. Now they're not cooperating. What's going on there?
Well, Colombia and Venezuela right now pose a significant problem for the United States. Both of the countries have recently been decertified by the U.S. government for their non-compliance in helping the United States go after corruption, drug traffickers, extradition, and money laundering. So this is a problem that's going to continue right now under the current administrations with President Petro in Colombia. He recently had his visa revoked by the United States. They have not been compliant in helping the United States as well as Venezuela. So I expect drug trafficking, record amounts of cocaine to be coming out of Venezuela as well as Colombia.
Okay. And again, that's the same shadow as the Mexican thing. A lot of money changing hands, a lot of people getting wealthy in the governments by taking bribes, right?
Absolutely. And if you look at Venezuela and the Maduro administration and the Cartel de los Soles, the Cartel of the Suns, which involves high-level Venezuelan military and government officials. They're complicit in that. There's also been a $50 million reward for President Maduro for his arrest and conviction. And that just shows that the government of Venezuela is complicit in drug trafficking, and they continue to pose a serious problem to the United States.
Do you trust the DEA and the feds to give us accurate information? Because they could say anything. They could say Maduro's a drug dealer and this one's that and that one's this. When you see the information come out to the American public, do you trust it?
100%, Bill. And it's not that the information that comes out that we trust. They have indictments against various individuals in the Venezuelan government. And in order to obtain those indictments, you need evidence, strong evidence, because the ultimate goal would be to try and convict these individuals. So we can't operate just solely on the premise of information. We need hardcore evidence to be able to pin these people to significant crimes.
And once they come here and are tried, like Escobar, they always get convicted. They never get acquitted. Usually they plead guilty, right?
Absolutely, because there's overwhelming evidence against these individuals. Now, if you have, like Chapo Guzman to take, for example, if you have unlimited resources and a vast amount of money to be able to fight these charges, you can go ahead and do that. Obviously, that's their right. But the overwhelming amount of evidence ultimately comes out. And to the men and women who are sitting on these federal juries, they hear that information. They hear the evidence against them. It's overwhelming. And just about every time these individuals are convicted.
Yeah, and they can't get convicted in Mexico, Colombia, or Venezuela because the drug gangs will kill all the jurors and their families, right?
Well, that, and as well as the corruption. That's why the United States always pushes for the extradition of these major traffickers to the United States.
Right. Chris, I don't think the drug war is ever going to be won, no matter what Trump does or the American military or the DEA or anybody else. Because if you're smuggling 10 million tons of cocaine into the United States, that means millions of Americans are buying it. And they seem to be buying it more than ever before, despite all of the warnings about fentanyl, all of this. Everybody knows they're still buying narcotics at a record rate. The United States consumes more illegal narcotics than any other nation on earth by far. So if the consumer demand in our country is that high, you're never going to beat it. There's always going to be somebody dealing it. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right, Bill. And it's the law of supply and demand. So the more demand that there is in the United States and throughout the world, the more supply that there's going to be.
Why do you think there's so much demand in the USA? Why do you think that so many Americans use illegal narcotics, thereby enriching these killers in these foreign countries and destroying their own situations if you're using opiates? Why? Why are they doing it?
That's a great question, Bill, and I wish I had the definitive answer for that. But I think you see drug usage has increased significantly over the past several years, especially with youth. I think they perceive this as something cool that they can do. And, the United States, we have a lot of people with a lot of money that, don't have a lot of time to spend. They're looking for hobbies. They're looking for outlets. They're, for a variety of different reasons. But the demand has continued to rise over the last several years significantly in the United States.
There's no stigma attached to it now, particularly in the entertainment industry and this hip hop culture. And the second thing is that in New York and Chicago and LA, you can deal heroin and cocaine on the street openly, get arrested, and you won't get charged. You'll be out on no bail. I mean, it's easy to do it. You can make a bloody fortune. And the downside is you get booked, you're in there a couple of hours. The progressive DAs don't want to prosecute you. They see it's a victimless crime, all of that. That's why I think that this drug thing is rising. It's the culture, the permissive culture, and the absolute dereliction of duty on the part of these Soros-backed district attorneys across the country. Last word.
100%, Bill. And we've seen that and in some of these cities where they've tried these experiments to decriminalize small amounts of drugs, there are no consequences. There are no harsh penalties. People are selling drugs, using drugs. They're getting arrested. They're back out on the streets in no time. So without serious consequences, I think that this issue is going to continue.
Yeah, Oregon legalized it, and they had to then go back and say no because Portland was destroyed and the kids were going wild. All right, the book, again, I recommend it. Escobar, Taking Down the Notorious Cali Godfathers and the Biggest Drug Cartel in History. Chris, thanks very much. We appreciate your service. Number one, there's a long history of putting yourself in personal danger to fight these evildoers, and they are evil, which is why I have them in my book, Confronting Evil, and we appreciate your service in the book very much. Thanks for appearing. Cold and flu season coming on up. We all know it, and it really is nothing to take lightly. So when people start getting sick all across the country, medications disappear. Everybody wants it at the same time. So it's very, very smart to have a pharmacy you can count on, like All Family Pharmacy. Right now, they're helping Americans get ahead of the curve with 10% off antibiotics, antivirals, other essentials. You know how important it is to have the right meds when you get sick, particularly when your kids get sick. You don't want to be going into the doctor's office, spending all the time. You want to have them at your home. So if you have a few months' supply, you don't have to worry, and that's what we're doing here. If you believe in medical freedom, okay, and taking care of your family, as I do, this is the pharmacy for you. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10%. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or placed in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. All right, final thought. It's October, a really nice month here in the Northeast as the leaves change, but they change a lot later than they used to. If you're thinking about coming on up, last 2 weeks in October and then first week in November, you're going to get 3 weeks of it. We are unbelievably busy this month. We are going to do a Q&A on Confronting Evil. This is only for premium and concierge members. So we hope you sign up. You get Confronting Evil free if you do, and massive discounts on all our stuff, including the mat and the mugs. You can submit your questions, BillO'Reilly.com/live. All right, BillO'Reilly.com/live. October 9th, 8 p.m. And I'm going to bring in Hammer, my new co-author, Josh Hammer. He's going to answer the questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, and you'll learn a lot too. So that's only for premium members, as I said. Then on the 15th, we are going down. The three Americans are going down to D.C., Stephen A. Smith, Chris Cuomo, me, your humble correspondent, for a big News Nation special, which will also be at 8 o'clock. This is Wednesday, October 15th. I think it's going to be simulcast on the CW if they can knock the wrestling off. We'll wrestle around, and this is going to be big. Now, a lot of people want tickets. I'm not sure because it's not my deal. It's News Nation sponsoring it. So it's newsnationnow.com. Newsnationnow, N-O-W.com. They'll tell you about tickets. It's at the Kennedy Center, big swanky Kennedy Center appearance for the three Americans and our guests. That's going to be fun. And then at the end of the month, might have to go out to L.A., shape everybody out there. Not sure on that 100%, but people are demanding that O'Reilly come to Los Angeles. So we may be doing that. Thank you for watching and listening this evening. I am Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.